Hey y'all, welcome back to Mama Never Told Me. Now, if you listened to last week's episode with my sister Tinka, then you already know we started this conversation a little differently. Because according to my sister,
Menopause to me is like Bigfoot, one of those things I heard about but never saw.
and I remember sitting there looking at her like, must be nice. Because while she out here living her best Bigfoot-free life, some of us been out here fighting for our lives, trying to figure out what our bodies are doing. But that conversation with my sister made me realize something important. Even in the same family, even in the same bloodline, our bodies don't always tell the same story. Some women go through menopause and barely notice it. Some women go through menopause and feel like their whole body turned upside down. And some women never had anyone explain any of it at all. That's when I started thinking about the woman who came before both of us, my mama. Now, my mama is about to turn 79 years old. And when I started asking her questions about menopause, about emotional burnout, about the quiet ways your body changes as a woman, her answer stopped me in my tracks. She said something that I think a lot of women from her generation could probably relate to. She said, nobody never explained nothing to me. And that right there is the generational gap. Because today we have Google, we have doctors, we have podcasts like this one where women can share their stories. But for a lot of our mothers and grandmothers, they were learning about their bodies in real time. No guidebook, no conversation, no safe space to ask questions. Just trying to figure it out as they went. And sometimes the only people explaining things to them weren't even women. So today's conversation is a special one for me because I'm sitting down with the woman who raised me, the woman who lived through womanhood long before people were openly talking about menopause. My mama. And what she shared with me about growing up as a woman, about learning about her body, and about what she wishes she had known, might explain why so many of us were never prepared for these conversations in the first place. So y'all, let's get into it. This is my mama.
All right, so we are doing take one of Mama Never Told Me with the Erica and Johnny Edwards conversation. All right, so I'm going to let Erica take it from here and action.
We're back with Mama. This is Johnny Edwards. She's my mama, and I'm glad to be here with her. And how was your day?
It was good, except for I stumbled and fell and bust my head today.
And how did you do that?
Oh, not paying attention like y'all always tell me. My shoe was untied and I got out of the car to do something and stumbled over and fell right into the building. Hi, y'all.
It's all funny in games until it ain't funny.
Exactly.
Especially with your age.
True.
You'll be 80 in a year, so
Yes.
you need to actually be more careful with that.
Yes.
How old are you?
I will be 79 on March the 26th.
Ooh, big 7'9".
Yeah.
All right. That's a blessing, y'all.
Yes,
And I'm
it
glad
is.
that you're still here. Now, it's a lot of things because, like with me and my health, I'm 53, and last year was not a good year for me. I've been, battling with the back and forth, going back and forth to the ER, the surgeries with the common bile duct and, the heart rate and everything. And it was just hurting and upsetting for me, especially being dismissed by the doctors, not only in the ER, but my actual doctors, when they kept telling me there was nothing wrong with me when I knew exactly that there was something was other than menopause.
Right.
So with you being 79, how was it like being a woman before anybody explained menopause to you?
Well, that's kind of hard to say because nobody never explained nothing to me because that's just the way it was then. But I do remember the way I found out about menstruation was when it actually happened, and it scared me to death, and I didn't know what it was. And my cousin had to tell me. And of course I was upset, and my cousin was with me, Henry and Raymond, all of us kids. And I remember all of us praying, dear God, please don't let it be happening right now because we ain't through jumping in the slime hole. We had a great big pond behind our house that we wasn't supposed to be in to begin with.
Yeah, and y'all
because it was lime water.
That's
that
why
the
y'all
company
call it
was
slime,
using.
slime hole.
Yeah, that the company was using. And we would go over there and jump in the water because we thought it was fun. But of course, I'm just truly blessed that neither one of us never got sick behind that. But growing up, my health was very good. I didn't really start having health problems, and I don't have real bad health problems right now, except for my blood pressure.
Yeah.
And
so,
but the diagnosis that you were going through, I was wondering about that because I didn't know nothing about it, and it was scaring me. And I prayed a lot about that because I didn't know what it was. And as old as I am now, I didn't know what common bile duct. I didn't know what that was.
Well, what about menopause? I mean, that's all they kept telling me in the end. Oh, it's just menopause, and they were like just dismissing me. Did you have any of them symptoms? Did you even know what menopause was?
No, I just know that I had mood swings a lot. I couldn't seem to get myself where I was comfortable. I'm hot one minute, I'm cold the next minute, I'm grouchy, and everything. And it wasn't until your daddy told me about menopause, just like he told me about having a baby, because I didn't know nothing about no kids and what to do with a baby. I had a very sheltered life. My mother, my birth mother, gave me to her sister who adopted me when I was 6 weeks old. So I wasn't raised with my siblings, but I do know all of my siblings and who they were. But as far as being around them, I only saw them when school was out.
So you didn't even have all of your sisters to tell you anything about growing up as a young girl?
No, they didn't. No, I didn't. So everything
about
that
the
I
emotional
learned,
burnout and your body changing,
no,
you had to learn on your own.
I learned it on my own and from other kids at school.
Yeah, and that can be a bad thing because kids can, how kids are, they can bully you or not tell you the truth
and
not
tell
what's
you
going on.
The only thing that they were on me a lot about when I was growing up, because I hung out with my cousins who were all boys, and I was what you call a tomboy, always into something. And my grandmother just drilled it in me and was telling me the only thing she really told me about was don't be messing around with no boys because you end up pregnant. What's that? How am I going to get pregnant? And again, it was my cousin who had to tell me what getting pregnant was. And I thought that was so nasty. I was like, no, that is not for me. So y'all don't have to worry about me getting pregnant.
And now look at 5 kids
and
later.
Now I got 5 of them mugs that I birthed. and 4 of them I adopted.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, children have always been my life. Even then, I was the babysitter of the block for everybody. I love kids. I always have.
How did your cousins, especially your guy cousins, how did they tell you about a woman's body? Your mama didn't tell you? Big mama didn't tell you?
When I asked, after Janie told me, Janie is the one that told me. After Janie told me, and I asked Mama about it, she told me there wasn't nothing else for her to tell me because Janie had already told me. And she just left it alone.
So what exactly did Janie tell you?
Well, Janie told me that, as a girl age and get older, our body changes, and that's the way God designed us. And we have periods, and you have one every month. And if you start interchanging with young men, that's how you end up getting pregnant, by having sex, not knowing, nothing else.
So if they were very vague with that, then I know that it was nothing they told you when you got older.
No.
And went through the change, quote unquote, the change.
Right.
Which is menopause.
Right.
And like you said, the mood swings, because I remember as a little girl and even a young girl, teenager, like you said, the mood swings, the emotional burnout. You were tired a lot.
Yeah.
You didn't, like you said, you didn't know what was going on. One minute you hot, next minute you cold.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was because I was young back then.
Yeah.
And I thought it was because you had them surgeries. You had eye surgeries.
I had eye.
And then you even had a hysterectomy.
Yes.
So with that, I didn't know.
And, I was just blessed to have the husband that I did who would talk to me and tell me everything. He taught me how to cook. I didn't know how to do nothing. I couldn't even boil water without burning it. But.
Well, I mean, it seems like more men taught you about womanhood than women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those
because I was around nothing but men. And they didn't want to see me hurt. And they tried to keep me out of harm's way.
So now that those men, they're saying that they're being, especially nowadays, that those men are being proved wrong. The doctors, PAs and things like that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think if it wasn't for the man that I did have in my life, I'd be worse off than what I was. But fortunately enough, from what they did tell me and from the little bit that I have learned, it's benefited me. Even though I fell short on telling you guys, telling my girls about it, because I figured y'all would learn it just like I did. That was my mentality of thinking at that time, because I was too busy having kids.
Right.
To sit down to tell y'all about it, because I was still a kid myself.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with y'all.
And what about like with the menopause? Did it stop with the
Girl, no, I'm 1,000 years old right now, and I still have hot flashes.
So it never stopped.
It ain't stopped on me. It stops on a lot of people, but it ain't stopped on me.
And what about the brain fog and just what are some of the other symptoms that you've noticed with your body?
I noticed that, of course, I got this fat beer gut, but I don't know whether I wouldn't think it's a health problem. It's just that I'm getting older and I'm, I guess, getting that spread, and I am trying to correct the way that I eat. A lot of stuff that I do eat, I've changed because I've learned over the years. And right now I keep telling myself it's not too late to change it and to keep doing what I'm doing, because I'm gradually getting back off of a lot of food that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. For instance, I love pig feet. I love neck bones, bacon and stuff like that. But I hardly ever eat it now. I love
that pig too.
I hardly ever eat it now. I'm not saying that I don't eat it no more, but I do, but I don't eat it as often. And I don't eat as much as I did, because my body lets me know that I don't need because I
Yeah,
get a
because
headache.
you get headaches.
I get a bad
You
headache.
get a bad headache. And that's also, like I keep saying, how your body is just changing.
Yes, it is.
And it changes on a daily basis,
Yes.
little subtle things. And sometimes you don't even notice until you're standing in the mirror and it's like, wow.
Right. And
You
I
know.
look in the mirror all the time and I say, I can see aging in my face. And then I have to back up and regroup. And I said, Lord, I thank you for the blessing for me getting old. I'm not complaining.
Mhm.
I'm just seeing the change that's coming about in me. I can see it.
So what
And
would
I'm
you
very
tell us
grateful.
now? Like, what would you tell your grandchildren or your great granddaughters or even your daughters that
I would
haven't
tell
went through
my
menopause
children
yet?
that your body is going to change. That's the way God has built you, and that don't be ashamed when your body start making changes to ask questions.
Mhm.
Because nowadays, even with everything being as modern as it is, you have to advocate for yourself.
Yes, you do.
And I would tell my girls, it's a lot that I don't know, and I'm not going to tell you that I do. But if you come to me and ask me something and I don't know, I'm going to be the first one to tell you to try to find it out, advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Because of the fact, if you don't, other things can happen. One thing can lead to another that could have been prevented.
Right. Oh, trust me. I remember all last year. If I wasn't advocating for myself, I don't know where I would be. You know, because like I said, doctors are quick to dismiss you, especially Black women.
Right.
Melanated women, women of color. Doctors don't believe in what we tell them. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know that when your cortisol or your estrogen drops, it gives you more increase to heart attacks and strokes.
You see, you just told me something I didn't know.
Nobody is telling us this.
Nobody told me that, but I do know this much. I'm on an estrogen pill that I'm going to have to take the rest of my life.
But you also have to be careful with that, because now, it's not even now, but they're telling us, and you have to listen very carefully, because some doctors will tell you and some won't. Those HRTs or hormone replacement therapies, they cause cancer later on down the road. They may be good starting out, but 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, you may end up with a form of cancer, or it may do something else different in your body. And that's another symptom that you got to deal with.
Right. Well, I asked my doctor when I was in seeing her last week to start taking me off some of this medication, because I wanted to go holistic on a lot of medications that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on 3 blood pressure pills, but when I left her office, I was on 2.
Good job.
And
good. Congratulations.
She was telling me, you know, I was asking her, as a matter of fact, I asked her about the Synthroids that I take, which is a hormone pill. And she says that they will see if they could give me something else. But because of the fact I still have the emotions, and I still have the hot flashes and all of that stuff, even though I'm 79 years old, I can still have sexual desires.
Well, yeah, that doesn't stop.
Because with me being a woman, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't change.
I thought Synthroid was for your thyroid, and that's another thing that they kept saying.
Yeah,
that it's your thyroid.
Synthroid is for estrogen and my
thyroid. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know one doctor
kept
saying that.
Because I don't have they radiated my thyroid, and since I don't have one, which is the temperature of your body, from what I understand, to my knowledge, the way she was explaining, I thought it meant that controls
it regulates the temperature in your body.
Body. So that's why she was telling me I probably would have to take the pill.
There's nothing else that she can give you, or can you ask them, is there anything natural that you can take?
I did ask her that, and she said that she would look into it for me. But for right now, she didn't want to take me off of that pill.
And that's the thing also, because some medicines you can't quit cold turkey.
Right.
You have to gradually taper off of them.
Right.
Otherwise, it'll spiral your health into something worse.
Right. And right now, to be my age, I feel great. Except I really have to watch my blood pressure. And it's just like now with my back is hurt and my neck due to accidents. I've had surgery on my neck and I have to be careful with that, of course. Now they talking about surgery on my back, but I'm not going to have surgery on my back. I move around too much.
Yeah.
I'm not fixing to be down.
You really do.
I move around too much to be having my back all whacked up. Even if I wouldn't,
Right.
I'm not ready to, to do that. And so hence the reason why I'm looking at taking the injections every other month.
Symptoms that you had, or now that you're looking back on it from menopause, because even the GYN doctors, like I know mine didn't tell me, when I kept asking her about menopause and I asked her, are there any tests that you can give me? She actually told me no. She was like, I already know you're in menopause. I said, how do you know that? And she asked me my age and asked me when was my last period. And I told her, and she was like, oh yeah, well, you're in it. And I asked her, well, is there like some baseline labs you can tell me so that I can monitor those every 6 months? She told me I didn't need to. She got fired.
Well,
I fired her because that's one thing you don't have to do is keep a doctor who will not listen to you.
Well, one thing I do remember now that we mentioned that, Dr. Shoemaker, I love him. He was a good doctor. He gave me that hysterectomy. I do recall him telling me, and he explained it to my husband, I had a total hysterectomy, which meant I was not going to have any more periods. I won't be able to have any more kids, but my life was going to change. He said my life was going to change. And at that time, I didn't know what he meant about my life is going to change,
And what happened?
The change is I went into menopause with the mood swings and the
did
hot
you
and
have
cold
drying,
flush and my skin is dry.
out?
No matter how much lotion I put on, I'm still look like I've been playing in flour or something.
That part,
But,
I have some of that also.
Yeah.
I was just at the doctor today, at the dermatologist, asking him, what can I do? Because I literally just put moisturizer on, and he was all like, well, that's kind of part of it. But he also wanted to give me emollients and, told me to use like petroleum jelly and things like that.
Yeah.
But again, all of these symptoms, even from your eyesight, the way that you eat, it's all affected. And it's your heart rate, high blood pressure, all of this is related to menopause.
So, but by that, I mean, I watch it now, and I do the breast exams because of the fact I did find out there's cancer in our family. My birth mother died from colon cancer. My brother died from colon cancer, and I get checked. I think it's every 2 or 3 years. They do what do they call it? Colonoscopy or whatever.
Colonoscopy. And that's another thing, another part of the change. Because we do have that history of colon cancer. That's why I stayed trying to get my abdomen and everything checked out, and data passed from, a necrotic gallbladder.
Yeah.
And they kept telling him nothing was wrong with him.
Right.
And his gallbladder was sitting there rotting. Everything, like I said, these doctors dismiss you. You really have to advocate for yourself.
Right.
And with young women today, I think that we should start early.
Yes.
The younger that they are, the more prepared they'll be.
Exactly.
Because you're not really going to know when exactly it's going to hit.
No, you don't.
You know, and a lot of women, because like with me, all I remember, I'm thinking menopause is going to be, oh, I'm just going to have hot flashes. Because that's all that I thought menopause was.
Yeah, I
you
did
know,
too.
oh,
When
you
I-
stopped your period, you know, hey, you
That's
don't
what I
have to
thought it
worry
was.
about getting pregnant no more.
Right.
And then you just going to have hot flashes. No, it's a whole body change. Mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually, all of it.
Yes.
You know, and that's something that you really have to be prepared for.
Yes.
Ah, man, this is a great conversation and we could go on all night.
Yes.
From your life as a young woman, having periods up into your life after not having periods, which one would you prefer?
Well, that's kind of hard for me because I enjoy both sets of it. And I've accepted, and I know there's nothing I can do about it because that's the way my body is built and it's designed. That's the way God made it. So to not have one and still be able to enjoy my life as I would if I was still having one, I'm great. One difference is I don't have to worry about sitting there counting all the time and making sure that I'm okay, making sure that I got money to go buy the necessary things that I'm going to need to take care of me during that time, and worrying about, oh boy, I'm 40 years old now. If I venture out and have sex, I could get pregnant. I don't want to be no 40-year-old woman having no baby.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's a lot of them. You got look at these stars, 40-year-old, 50-year-old.
Right.
They're even trying to make 60 and 70-year-old mamas again.
But
yeah,
that ain't
I'm not trying
for
to
me.
have that. That's not for me either.
You know, like right now, I enjoy my grandkids and my great grands, and I enjoy being able to get up and go because now, I mean, I miss my husband, but I have nothing to keep me from enjoying the next chapter of my life, whatever it may be. Right. That's the reason why I travel as much as I do. I want to go as often as I can, whenever I can, before you all have to decide what to do with me, so to speak, you know? Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't trust y'all and don't want y'all to but I don't want y'all to have to take care of me before it's time. And I don't want to be one of those people that gonna sit back and do a lot of coulda, shoulda, wouldas when I get old. You know? Yeah. Because of the fact, it's like I was telling your sister, you know, she was having a fit because I'm gone and I'm like, look, I gave my whole life to all of y'all. Can't none of y'all say that I was not there for you. I was there the way I knew how to be. And whoever needed me at that time in my life and in theirs, I was there. When you needed me to travel to you, to be there for your kids, I was there. When they needed me, when she had her knee surgery and her other problems that she was having, I was there. When they needed me, I was there. You know, so it's just that all of y'all didn't need me at the same time, but at the time you did need me, I tried to make myself available to be there to do what I needed to do for you at that time. Now it's my time.
It is.
And I'm just now learning that, and I learned that from y'all because y'all the one that told me back up and regroup and let grown folks be grown and let y'all do y'all. And I'm doing that. And it's okay with some of y'all, but some of you, it's not. So I'm getting to the place now, the ones that it's not okay with, I hate it for you, but I'm going to do what I need to do for me. So, I mean, that's that. But this was a beautiful conversation.
And that leads into what, you know, I get what you're saying, you know, the older you get, you know, before you have to go into a home, which you would never go into. But what are some of the questions, like looking back on it now, What would you tell somebody? What would you tell somebody like one of your
I would tell
granddaughters or
them,
great granddaughters about menopause or about getting older?
I would tell them as they get older, their body's going to change, and to look for certain things like the mood swings. And when you start having the first sign of these things, start looking at how you can be able to preserve and help yourself the older that you do get. And to don't let what everybody say about you bother you. I had to learn that the hard way. The menopause, it affects everybody different ways. And you may not be able to sit at home and deal with having a hot flash. You got to be prepared for that and be ready for that. And as you get older, you're going to just have to say, okay, I know this is happening to me, so I'm going to have to just say, dress different. I'm going to have to eat right. That's the main thing. Start eating right when you're young, and you don't have to worry about it when you get old.
Right.
It's hard on me now trying to adjust and start eating the stuff that I need to eat than if it had been happening the whole while. So it's nice, but.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate that because, like I said, we could go on and on and on on and on. Because this is a good conversation, and it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yes, it is.
Not just between us, but other mothers, other women out there telling their sisters, their brothers, husbands, even getting the men involved. You know, your body is going to go through some changes, some serious changes. And like you said, whether it's from mood swings to your body drying out everywhere, vaginally, your skin drying out, emotions, you crying for no reason, or then you get angry or irritable for no reason. All of this, hair loss, memory, brain fog or whatever it is, heart rate, like I said, all of this is contributing to menopause. And I remember one doctor, when she first told me, oh, this is the perfect storm, I didn't want to listen to her because I knew that something was going on, because you're not going to tell me that my heart rate is 163 and climbing and I'm just sitting there. My blood pressure is, in the triple digits. And all of this was because of menopause. Nobody told me nothing. Doctors didn't tell, and then they didn't even want to give me anything except for a metoprolol for high blood pressure. So it is something that when your body goes through changes, the more you know, the better off you'll be.
Yes.
And so again, I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you for sitting down, talking with me about this, and we'll have more conversations later on.
And thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to let you know what I know, which was nothing really.
Things Mama never told me. You heard it first.
Sitting here talking with my mama reminded me of something. So many of the women who came before us were navigating their bodies without a map. No one sat them down and explained what was happening. No one told them about menopause or emotional burnout or the quiet ways their bodies would change over time. They were learning in real time, figuring it out day by day, while still raising families, working, loving, and surviving life the best way they knew how. And when my mama said, "Nobody never explained nothing to me," that stayed with me. Because for a lot of women from her generation, that was the reality. But here's the beautiful thing. Today, we get to change that. We get to have the conversations our mothers didn't have. We get to ask the questions they didn't feel comfortable asking. And we get to pass that knowledge forward to the women coming behind us. So to my mama, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your strength. And thank you for reminding us that it's never too late to start talking about the things we didn't understand before. And to everyone listening, check in with the women in your life. Your mothers, your sisters, your daughters, your friends. Ask them what they experienced. You might be surprised at the stories waiting to be told, because some things Mama never told us, but we're allowed to talk about them now. Thank you for listening to Mama Never Told Me.